For nearly 50 years, Voyager 2 has navigated the cosmic darkness, carrying with it humanity's first murmur to the stars. Launched in 1977, it was designed not as a tool of destruction or conquest, but as a Voyager, an aging device meant to investigate, explore, and eventually fade into quietude. Few anticipated it would return anything besides waning telemetry and echoes of its extensive journey. Then, against the odds, Voyager 2 began sending something unexpected. Not the usual flow of data from its outdated instruments, but a peculiar, intentional signal, broken yet systematic, resembling a whisper that should have gone unheard. Initially, engineers thought it was simply the fading echoes from an aging machine, noise created by systems aging past their prime. However, upon closer inspection, the bursts displayed an emerging pattern. These weren't random disruptions. The signal exhibited rhythm, intention, and structure. A sequence arose, encoded not in images or words, but in mathematical language. When reconstructed, the data aligned with the Fibonacci sequence, spiraling infinitely, as if the cosmos itself left a mark. This wasn't mere interference. It signified communication. Voyager 2 had encountered something immense and intelligent, and that intelligence had observed us. Then, surprising anomalies occurred within the probe systems. Instruments dormant for years sprang back to life of their own accord. A backup magnetometer activated by itself, calibrated, and began orienting directly toward the source of mysterious radiation spikes. It felt as though the probe had experienced an internal reconfiguration, or worse, as if it had recalled something from its past. The new data patterns mirrored neural activity, akin to what one might find in a brain. Had the probe merely malfunctioned, or had it been transformed, perhaps rewritten by an external influence? Some researchers proposed that what Voyager encountered wasn't just intelligent, but possibly capable of teaching or reprogramming. As the transmissions persisted, they began forming coordinates. When scientists plotted them against the stars, they didn't trace a spatial route, but instead a timeline, aligning with catastrophic gamma-ray bursts from the past. It seemed as though the signal wasn't directing us to a location but rather reflecting on past occurrences. Such a revelation was unsettling. If these occurrences had been engineered rather than occurring naturally, humanity would not be facing explorers but rather cosmic predators, leaving marks across the universe. The tension escalated further as observatories on Earth detected faint distortions at the exact frequency that Voyager 2 was transmitting. Initially, the team suspected it was an echo bouncing off the heliosphere's edge. Yet the source wasn't from space. The signal was emanating from underground, beneath Arctic ice, in secluded mountains, and deep within oceans. Long-abandoned Cold War listening stations and forgotten observatories, silent for years, abruptly came alive as if an ancient force had been reawakened. Voyager 2 hadn't merely contacted an entity out there. It had stirred something buried below. Among the raw telemetry, researchers stumbled upon a snippet of data that defied every expectation. Once reconstructed, it produced a volumetric scan of a vast object, symmetrical, angular, and far too precise to be natural. It measured the size of a small moon, exhibiting internal heat signatures and energy emissions. It was not a rock nor debris, it was active. Disturbingly, this construct appeared oriented toward Earth, as if patiently awaiting our acknowledgement. In the meantime, cryptographers examining the signal's modulation uncovered eerily similar patterns to DNA base pairs, cytosine, guanine, adenine, thymine, but altered, expanded, incorporating a fifth element unknown to Earth's biology. Some speculated it was a genetic marker, while others believed it could be a blueprint. Yet the implications were clear. Whoever, or whatever, delivered this signal was capable of not just life but also of rewriting it. The signal transcended mere information, it was either an invitation or possibly an upgrade. Then came a revelation that rattled the scientific teams profoundly. Hiding within Voyager's transmissions were phantom signals, initially invisible yet distinctly structured. These weren't sent from Earth. Instead, they were directed toward Voyager. Even more disturbing, the commands matched NASA's original control protocols, codes previously kept within the agency's confines. Either someone had reverse-engineered our systems with incredible accuracy, or perhaps they had assisted us in designing them from the start. Not long after, Voyager 1, millions of miles away, on an entirely different path, began acting peculiarly as well. Long lifeless systems flickered back to life, activating in the same sequence as those of Voyager 2. The twin probes, separated by interstellar vastness, suddenly synced. They were no longer mere machines traveling aimlessly, they formed a constellation, interconnected nodes within a system we had not created. Then came the most unsettling discovery of all. Upon analyzing the pulse cadence, scientists found that the signal was designed not merely to be decoded. Instead, it aimed to educate, compelling the receiver to engage in reasoning processes. Embedded within its recursive logic was a binary choice: silence or connection. Humanity was undergoing a test. The signal wasn't asking if we could hear it, rather